Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about the 7 most important tinnitus hearing aid features. The way that hearing aids help improve the clarity of speech is through a process called amplification. And that is the first most important feature that you want in your hearing aids. And stay till the end of this video because I will explain how no matter what hearing aid manufacturer you have, you can connect them to your smartphone, and I'll show you how to play the best sound therapy from all the different apps to your devices so that you can get the best possible tinnitus treatment there is. Hey everyone, my name is Ben Thompson. I am an audiologist in California and founder of Pure Tinnitus. I am here to talk about the best review of tinnitus treatment that I could find. You'll see that title below me here in this video. And that review looked at the best tinnitus treatments out there. And guess what? They recommend hearing aids. So let's talk about how amplification of sound is the first important strategy to help your tinnitus with hearing aids. The way that hearing aids help improve the clarity of speech is through a process called amplification. And that is the first most important feature that you want in your hearing aids. You want to make sure that they are verified and validated. So typically that means going to see a doctor of audiology in a clinic and making sure they're using a system called real ear measures. It's important to manage tinnitus based on evidence and research and science. So that review that I mentioned earlier did strongly recommend hearing aids as a form of tinnitus relief. So I do encourage that. And anecdotally, in my own practice working with patients, adults who have tinnitus, who get hearing aids, most of them are satisfied and able to much better manage their tinnitus during the day. The second most important feature for tinnitus hearing aids are definitely going to be the style of the device. So to my side, you'll see what is called the receiver in canal style. And the reason that this is highly recommended for tinnitus is because most people with tinnitus, they have a high pitch hearing loss, but they can hear pretty normally in the bass tones. So this means that the clarity of speech has slowly declined and progressed over time. So with this receiver in the canal device, which has a small wire on the side of your ear and then a piece up and behind your ear, inside of your ear canal, there's a rubber tip. And typically that tip has some holes in it so it can provide a natural sound. If you plug your ear, like with one of these devices that I'm showing next to me, something that goes completely in your ear, you're going to hear your own voice change the resonance, and it's not going to be the kind of natural sound that you would want. So for most people with a high pitch hearing loss, this receiver in the canal style of hearing aid is one of the best features that you can have for your devices. Another reason why that style is so good is because personally, I believe it's the least visible. Oftentimes people say, I want the smallest hearing aid so no one can see it. The reality is a hearing aid style that goes completely in your ear, most times it still is visible from the side. And a receiver in the canal style, which has a thin wire going alongside the face and then the hearing aid up and behind the ear, that's less visible. So of course we want to give you the best hearing, the least amount of tinnitus perception possible, and we want a device that's easy to use and is the least visible. So that's feature number 2 that I need you to know when you're talking to your hearing provider. The third important tinnitus hearing aid feature is volume control. You need to have volume control over the sounds in your environment through the hearing aid, as well as the soothing, relaxing sounds that you're using for sound therapy to help manage tinnitus. So the volume control for the environmental sounds, that's going to be helping you hear speech, helping you hear your family's voices. We want our brain to be aware of the tinnitus sound so that it starts to feel like your tinnitus is less and less of a threat. This is especially important in the first months and years of managing tinnitus. So the soothing sounds, we need to adjust the volume, right? Let's give an example. One of my clients, they have a fluctuating tinnitus. So in some situations, it's louder, and on some days of the week for them, it's louder than others. So because of that, they don't need to adjust the hearing aid volume. They don't need to make their environment louder. They just need to make their soothing sounds through their ears louder. That's how volume control can be really important here. The fourth important tinnitus hearing aid feature are soothing sounds. Soothing sounds refers to playing sounds either through the devices directly or via your smartphone that can present a sound-rich environment, a comfortable, relaxing, soothing sound. So if the tinnitus is loud during the day, you have another sound to play that relaxes you. So then during your day with your devices, you're hearing the tinnitus and you're hearing the soothing sounds. This is crucial, this is important, this is something that most people use on a regular basis with tinnitus. Having that functionality, having that feature is key. You want to make sure the soothing sounds can play on the devices themselves without any kind of smartphone, and you want to make sure the devices can play through the smartphone, which I'll touch on later in one of the next features. I included some sound samples, so first let's listen to ocean waves. And then let's listen to crickets. And finally, let's listen to what is called brown noise. Now imagine you have the ability to hear and select different kinds of sounds like those, but directly to your ears so that your family or your work colleagues around you, they won't hear them. This is how managing tinnitus can get a lot easier when you can control the auditory experience. Having that sense of control is really important because oftentimes tinnitus makes us feel like we have no control over it because we can't touch it, we can't turn a dial down. Using sound, using soothing sounds through hearing aids is one of the best ways to manage the tinnitus. The fifth hearing aid feature for tinnitus that you need to know is Bluetooth connectivity. When you have Bluetooth connectivity through your devices, that means you can stream audio as well as phone calls through the hearing aids. For tinnitus, having the ability to stream audio means that whether you have an Android or an Apple phone, you're going to be able to listen to any kind of sound that you play through your devices. Now, most people with tinnitus, they know that they can find soothing sounds on YouTube or Pandora or Spotify or iTunes or an MP3 file. Now with Bluetooth, you can pick the specific sound that works best for your dynamic tinnitus and you can stream it through your hearing aids so that you know you're going to have that ability no matter where you are, as long as there's battery life. If you want a more in-depth analysis on sound therapy, I'll include a video I did about that in the description. The sixth most important tinnitus hearing aid feature is battery life. It's important to have access to sound therapy through your hearing aids throughout the day because sometimes you may have a spike in your tinnitus where it gets temporarily louder, and other times you may find yourself in a quiet place for many hours of the day where you can't stand just listening to the tinnitus, so you need to use these soothing sounds via Bluetooth, and we must have a long battery life in the devices. Now there's two ways to get this done properly. You can get a rechargeable hearing aid battery that is reliable and is known to last for at least 12 hours on a single charge, and most of the new ones do, but make sure you review those features when you're considering which hearing aids to get for your tinnitus. The second option is to get a hearing aid with a classic disposable or recyclable battery, and that's something that you can change whenever you need to. So that if your hearing aid runs out of battery in your ear, you can just quickly change it and put it back, and that's just a minute of your time, as opposed to if you're relying on some sort of rechargeable device, whether it's a hearing aid or an AirPod or whatever. If it runs out of battery, you have to wait a significant time for it to recharge. And finally, number 7, the most important tinnitus hearing aid feature to have is going to be Bluetooth connectivity. Today's devices are sophisticated, but the smartphones that we have are even more sophisticated. So the Bluetooth connectivity allows us to connect our hearing aids to our smartphone, and that means that you can listen to the best sound therapy, the best apps, whatever kinds of audio input that is available on your phone, which is essentially everything. The insider tip that I promised you guys at the beginning of this video is that when you're looking on the App Store for the different kinds of tinnitus apps, for example, Resound Relief is a common app, and that's by a hearing aid manufacturer called Resound. So I incorrectly previously thought that I needed to be wearing Resound hearing aids to connect the Resound Relief app through my hearing aids. But then I realized later that I can use different apps from different hearing aid manufacturers to help tinnitus, and from any sort of sound app on your phone or any kind of music player from your phone with Bluetooth, those can go to your hearing aids, essentially allowing you to customize the sound therapy that you need to whatever degree you want by picking the sounds that really work for you. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you like this, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to press that subscribe button where you will be getting all of the newest videos about tinnitus and hearing from me, Dr. Ben. And on this next video here I have lined up for you guys, we're going to talk about how to limit ringing in your ears. On this video, I give my perspectives of what's typically missing from the medical perspective about how to manage tinnitus.